Buenos Dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it like a smack addict. And as you can tell by that thumbnail right there, yes, indeedy, I wrote graffiti all over the bus. We got a special guest, another homeboy of mine that I've been knowing for 30 plus years, someone that I've been around the block with in that 64, menudo style, and in that fashion. I'm talking about none other than the homeboy I'll be talking about in a lot of my spills, one Mr. Puerco, the Northside San Jose, right? Sanjo is in the building. So, hey, let me introduce this Vato right here, man. This Vato, me and him go way back, like I said, 30 plus years. I only bring real hitters. I only bring real people to the table. I don't play, man. That's not the way I do it. I keep it menudo, and we're going to do it like that. So how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, bro. It's good to hear from you. Buenos dias to all the viewers out there.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And just like with Spookio, man, I know you know Spookio too. He said send his regards and his love, man.
Likewise, brother. Spooky's a righteous brother right there.
No doubt about it, man. So being from San Jose, bro, you know, growing up in the 90s, late 80s, 90s in San Jose when it was very treacherous, man. How was it out there, brother? And we're going to get to everything later on, man, about Nellis and all that. But how was it growing up in San Jose in the early 90s, brother?
I remember there was a lot of different neighborhoods in the north, mostly in the east and west. There was Horseshoe. There was Barrio Libre. There was in the east side you had Palmas. You had BMLs. You had Metal Fair, Montalban. And there was a lot more norteños, and you didn't really see too many sureños. I didn't really see them too much until like right before I went to Y.A. It was a lot of mostly paisas and wannabes. Not too many here and there.
Yeah. That's understandable. It's the same story, man. It seems like everyone tells the same story. You know, that it's like they came out of nowhere, bro. But they did establish. They planted their flags, and nowadays, man, Sureños are there. You know, there's no doubt about that. So let's fast forward to Nellis, man. C.Y.A. Nellis, or let's take it to NRCC, which is the reception, and we were there together, dorm one, man. You remember that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was still a young bug, man. I think I was only like 14 when we hit NR.
Yes, absolutely, man. And talking about it, man, and reminiscing and thinking, do you remember that night that we were ready to transpack and leave to Nellis, man? What was going on? Remember they slid our boxes late that night?
Yeah, I remember they slid the boxes, and I was cellies with Munchies from Sano, and we were trying to figure out what FCN on the box stood for. And once she told me, hey, that's Fred C. Nellis, bro, we're going down south. And then I hear you hollering down, hey, did you get your box? What is FCN? I said, that's Fred C. Nellis, just repeating what once she said. And it was on and cracking from that point on.
Yeah, I remember, bro. I remember distinctly. Everybody, lights went on. Everybody was up because I think 10 of us got our cajas, right? Or there was a few of us from there and some from dorm 2. I think
Yes,
Chucky
sir.
slid over from dorm 2 and shit. But getting on the same, I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked Spookio, man. Getting on that bus, bro, heading towards Nellis. What were your feelings, bro? Because I know mine. You know, what were yours?
I call it the negotiating table, man, where you kind of sit down and weigh out your options and look, start having that positive self-talk with yourself, like either you're going to be with it or or not. You know what I mean? These dudes don't care if you're just a resident or whatever. They're going to whoop your ass from being up north anyway. So you might as well get with the program and do it to the fullest. And when I was riding on that bus, I was just pumping myself up, knowing that, hey, it's for real. It's on and cracking now. You're going into their territory, and either you're going to be a bitch or you ain't. And I wasn't going to be no bitch, I'll tell you that much.
Right off the top, man. And I from my recollection, man, I remember shit really got real as soon as I hit Bakersfield. I think when I passed Bakersfield, I was like, all right, shit done got real, right? And I told little Diller from Fresno, he was sitting next to me. I was like, are you ready? He said, ready for what? I said, ready for what I'm going to do. Because I'm going to rock these motherfuckers' world. That's just me. I'm not trying to put too much on it. That's my feelings. Okay, so rolling up there that first night, we got to Truman. And do you remember that first night in that dorm? What happened?
Man, I think we got there like 8 o'clock at night. I remember it was nighttime and we were hella tired because we had been on that bus all day eating them nasty sandwiches, bro. And we couldn't wait to get to the dorm. And I remember when we got into Truman, they had a little talk with us, and then we went inside the dorm, and and the Southsiders were all on double bunks on the other side of the dorm, and they put us on single bunks on the opposite side. And from what I remember, man, I think it was they waited until there was only one. I think they call them counselors that was in the box. And then once there was one counselor, you just started hearing the pack sliding on the floor, right? And we were just looking at each other, knowing that it was going to crack off. I was looking at Chucky like, man, are you ready? Are you ready? And then they all jumped off their bunks, and we just started getting it. And it was just going for a cool minute. I remember that vodka from San Leandro was sitting on the toilet all in the corner while we were still getting down, man. And yeah, it was an experience, bro. Kind of reminded me of like the movies we were watching because it was just on and cracking.
Oh, most definitely. I remember that night. Yeah, you're right. Joker from San Leandro. Shout out to him in that toilet, right? Look, so next day, man, next day, I've told a story and I just wanted to let's stamp that one time for their minds. The next day, so we actually woke up in the morning. I remember they shipped some Southsiders. They just put them directly on the bus and shipped them up north so they get a little taste of that action. And the next day we went to breakfast. Do you remember that day going to get those pancakes? What I was telling everybody.
Yeah, so I think it was that bottle from Lamparas, right? And you know what? It's funny that you say that because a couple of people have asked me if the gun had hands, and I'll say this, man: when you crack that bottle, he fell to the ground, and it was just all ground and pound from there. You know what I mean? So I do remember. I can't remember his name, but I remember he was from Lampara.
Yeah, it's Joker from Lampara.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I remember that morning waking up, man, and going to get those pancakes and me thinking to myself, telling the homeboys, don't eat none of these pancakes because these vatos are spitting in our food. And
Yeah,
then,
I do remember that. I do remember that. Yeah, because that was one thing that we seen right away that all the Southsiders were working in the kitchen and they were working with our food. And I do remember you saying, "Hey, bro, they're gonna be spitting in our foods and all this stuff."
absolutely, man. So as soon as he came back to the compa, I decided for no other reason I should go ahead and put those hands on him. But let's take it we went from Cleveland. And from Cleveland, man, going to Kennedy. Let's skip Cleveland because everyone knows that story, man. That's where we first established. There was a lot of Norteños there. And then we got shipped. 10 of us got shipped to Kennedy.
Yes, sir.
And you were one of the brothers that rolled with me to Kennedy, man. And do you remember the experience there, man, breaking in that new compa?
Yeah, that was pretty much a repeat of what happened when we got to Truman. They were trying to, I think they were trying to wait until we went to Yarda so that they can lock the counselors outside or something. They had something planned like that. They try to run the same game about you ain't going to use this or that or what have you. But we had only been on the compa for about maybe two hours because we came back from dinner. And then when we came back, we were in that back row. And when we came back from dinner, man, it was on and was just, again, just like a movie scene. And people were running and jumping and cussing and going crazy. I remember I was getting down with somebody and one of the counselors had grabbed me by the shoulder and I didn't know who it was. So I turned around and hit him and I busted him pretty good. So he picked me up and dumped me on the ground and put me in handcuffs. And I was watching the rest of the riot through a pool of blood on the side of my face to see where everybody was at. And right after that, I went to Taft, and I was stuck in that program for a while.
Yeah, I remember that day. We lost you, and you end up going to Taft because the actually the counselor you beat up. Well, I say you beat him up because you put tips on him. Was actually the senior, so he was the he was actually the one running the whole show. And I remember he came through looking like a raccoon for the next few days, man, with a busted up nose, right? and he wasn't too happy. They threw us on freeze, so you didn't get to experience that freeze and all that, but not at that time.
I got it. So the bad thing about that is when we went to Taft, we still had to be on freeze until you guys got off. So I was sitting in the cell eating 3 cheese sandwiches with you guys, but you're stuck in the cell.
Oh wait, that's even worse than we had it. You know.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so going to Taft, man, and I told a story a while back about the perros. You know, the perros started breaking off from us and showing up doing a Taft program. And something went on with the vato named Dopey from Fresno, man. You know more of the story than I do. I was wondering if you could elaborate on that story and what happened, what took place in Taft.
So when I was there, the Dreamer from Puerco was there. Bubba's was there. K9 was there. Shorty, I think it was from College Street, was there. And so let me bring it back a little bit. So when Bubba's got there from Northside Fresno, he was kind of like the influence. He was the one that was trying to bring everybody together and get on the same page as far as the Bulldogs no longer being Norteños, right? And I remember him coming out to program with us and be like, we're no longer Norteños, we're Bulldogs, right? And it was like with a heavy heart, you know what I mean? Because again, I've said this so many a times. When we programmed together, we ate together, we fought back to back. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like we're just one day we're best friends and the next day we're getting into it. It was like it was a little bit more gradual than that. So when I was back there, they had some things going on with, I guess it was I can't remember his name, but I guess you remember Dopey. So
Yeah.
he had some things going on, and I'll never forget the pieces that these robbers pulled out. Man, they were about their business, and the homie Indio from Madera was there as well, right? So he got involved in that as well. But they had been waiting for him to come out to the showers, and in Taft, it's a long hallway with a bunch of cells on each side, and then there's a shower in the front. So what they do is they bring you out in a group, and everybody showers, and then they leave you in that locked cage until the staff come back. Well, once they let everybody out and lock the cage, that's when they started pulling out their fierros and started letting loose on that dude, and they let him have it something vicious. So yeah, bro, he got the business that day.
Yeah, they actually meta-flighted him out of there. That's confirmed, and I remember, man, you know, we're on the linea, we're hearing about it, and I think, I'm not sure if he's still in a wheelchair, but I know he got put in a wheelchair for a while on that. Um, Now, yeah, that was a big incident that took place. So there's a big misconception, with the Southerners and Northerners thinking that the Southerners weren't trying to get us off the linea. They, in fact, were. And, I developed a lot of good relationships with Sureños. I'm sure you did as well, man. There was a lot of good gente from down south, man. Good people that I used to conversate with. Did you ever form any bonds or any friendships with any while you were down there?
Yeah, in the beginning. I got to give it to him, man. These guys these youngsters that I see now, I don't think they would have made it, man. Because when I first got to Taft, they were really trying to give me the blues. I had this Walter from Primera Flats on one side, and Droopy from Compton Barrio Tortilla Flats on the other side of me. And the beds were bolted together, so you could jump on the bed and it would move the other person next to you's bed. And the walls were like real paper thin. So if you banged on the walls, it kind of smacked together, right? So what they would do is one would jump on my bed and the other would be smacking on the wall talking about, you're on restriction, buster, no sleeping for you. And they would spit in the food. They were really trying to give us the blues, like trying to break us. You know what I mean? So about them not really trying to get us off the linea and give us the blues, nah, that's not the truth. The truth is that they were doing their best, man. You know what I mean? But we were staying. We were still coming out. We were still doing what we had to do, right? So, and I remember one time, one of the vatos way at the end, even took a staff hostage and was trying to get the keys. Um, but they never accomplished their goal. And this is why I got to give Dreamer from Puerco his props, man, because he made some nice pedazos for all of us and made sure that we were all strapped up just in case anything happened, man. So they were trying to give us the blues, bro. But when I went back to Kennedy, uh, me and Droopy from Tortilla Flats, we ended up getting down. And after that, he became my he wasn't my bunk, right next to me, so we used to chop it up all the time, man. And it's funny because we didn't get along at all in Tab, and then we go to Kennedy and we get along. We're chopping it up, and it's all good, you know.
Yeah, you develop relationships, man. You know, everyone's going through the same struggle. And at the end of the day, we're all Chicanos, and that's pretty much what it is. So, let's fast forward. Well, you know what? Let's talk about one thing. I hate bringing this up, but you know, like I know, so because it's been out there, man, in the YouTube world for a while, and it's not that I'm trying to tear the homie down or downplay him, man. I just want to get facts, make facts 100. You know what I mean? The homeboy Batman Devisa, man, the good little homeboy right there. Remember him rolling up over there on Monroe and actually being on Kennedy for a minute with us. I've been told, man, and I'm starting to remember. Man, this thing about he was the only homeboy doing this and doing that, man. What was the facts on that, bro? You were right there with me. You know Batman extensively like I do. Hey, you got anything to speak on about that, bro?
As far as Batman is concerned, man, he's a good brother. I really encourage what he's doing now, and the changes that he's made as far as being on Kennedy with them. I don't know about all that Feed Raza stuff, but I can say I did see him get down in the blinas. He did get down for his, and he was more of a hustler. I remember he was able to hustle, bro. He was about his money, man. You know what I mean? And he didn't take nothing from nobody. You know, as far as that was concerned, when he left to Monroe, I can't speak on. But when I was on Kennedy with him, he was a good homeboy. He was about his business. I don't know nothing about no female raza stuff, but he was with us. He did get down on the blinas, and he was a hustler, bro. You know, so I got to give him his props on that.
Absolutely, bro. I wanted to clear up any misconceptions, you know, people thinking that there's hate or anything like that. Like I've always said from the beginning, man, he was a righteous homeboy. I knew he was down for his and would handle it. And at the same time, man, everything that happened after we left, you know, I can't speak on that. I can't verify that. I just know that there were other homeboys doing a lot of things too, as well, you know. And I like to give everyone
Yes,
their props, as well as
yes, sir.
Sureños, you know. There was a lot of riding ass Sureños that was in there handling their business. All right,
Yes, sir.
so let's fast forward to you getting out, bro. You getting out there back in Sanho, man. How was that? You know, what did you get directly right back in the mix, or did you take your time, or how'd that happen, homie?
When I came home, I was only out for like 3 weeks. I was really trying to make up time and catch up. Uh, when I came home, it was totally different. There was a lot of new neighborhoods, and there was a lot of sureños. I mean, these sureños were deep. I mean, everywhere, and it was nothing like it was before. And yeah, so I ended up getting caught up really quick. So I didn't last too long.
Yeah, and I actually fast forwarded through our time in Carl Holton, but man, like I said, Carl Holton, you went to DeWitt. There really was no big incidents that happened there besides fucking just a whole lot of homeboys eating big old spreads, right?
Yeah,
Um,
with bad boy from Sakura. I got to give a shout out to bad boy from Sakura. Man,
man,
that was the homie right there, man. The homie, Shorty from Salas.
yes, sir.
Um, the homies from Hamas. I mean, we talk about it all the time, brother. We used to have those spreads in the corner, man, on movie nights. You know what I'm saying?
Them big
Just
old
being over
spreads.
them big old spreads, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah, those were the times where we really those. Carl Hogan was a good spot. I mean, this is what I want to say about Carl Hogan, bro, is that was a place where we had been down south for so long, and then finally we get to a place where we can come and enjoy the fruits of our labor. So we were just living it up in Carl Hogan, bro, and that's where, like, man, we just got to enjoy each other. Because before down south, it was always we had to watch each other's back, and it was on and cracking like a half 60, 24/7. But when we got to call home, bro, we really got to enjoy each other and do our time.
Exactly, brother. So yeah, fast forward back to Sanho. You're in Sanho, man. The environment, the atmosphere has changed, compared to what you're used to. And man, what was going on out there as far as the norteño, the structure, the regiments? I know things were being established out there. How'd you find yourself in the mix, bro? And we don't want to get too in depth, just a roundabout way of how you found yourself, in that, because not everyone can get embraced like that, bro.
Well, when I came home, there was a lot going on. Let's see. When I came home from YA, I was still you know, like I said, I was only out 3 weeks, but there was a bunch of stuff going on. So I was like really getting my head around this delimit period, this the Norteño Soldado, the Norteño movement, and all this stuff. So when they were preaching this quote unquote gospel to me, it made a lot of sense. You know what I mean? As far as, the Norteño movement, we're trying to break off the oppression of Sureños. I mean, you're preaching to the choir because I had just went through that, So by the time I got to the county, that was like I went from Elmwood, bounced around from place to place, into the snake pits, doing removals in the snake pits, and really trying to strive because that fed right into what I wanted to do. We're talking about, like I said, preaching to the choir, man. They were talking about breaking off this oppression, and man, that's what I was about because I had been there, so I felt what they were talking. It just wasn't words on a piece of paper to me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Likewise, I kind of it's like when you go through it, bro, everything that they're speaking on and it pertains to you and you know it to actually be true, that's when you take a step back and you kind of see it for what it is and you're like, you know what? Shit, these Vatos got something going right here. This is what I'm trying to be part of, you know what I mean? What
Yes,
I've
sir.
struggled for. So out there in San Jose, man, the politics were getting heavy, man, and I know a lot of things were going on. Word on the curb, and at this time I was out, I was functioning, I was doing my thing within the regiment in Merced. Did you get hooked up, man, and affiliated with and take the next step, or were you kind of just on the outside looking in?
Yes, sir. It was early 2000s by that time, and so I was again some brothers that we were in YA with. I had been bouncing around from joint to joint, and then finally I landed in Jamestown, and I was in the oil in Jamestown, and I ran into some brothers there that were already functioning, and they were like, "Well, once you come home, then we'll get you into this regiment." So at that time, there was already something set up with the brothers from Goshen. So I just fell into line. But I was pretty blessed, man, because I was able to maneuver my way out of a lot of those indictments because right before they were coming down, I would either catch a violation, I would catch a new charge, or something to get me caught up so where I'm not out there, right? And I tried to move and maneuver my way out of those situations as much as possible so I didn't get caught up. Yes, I did function. Yes, we did do things, but I try to keep it low key. I didn't want to put my name out there or none of that stuff to get caught up in none of those indictments until the end. And then that's when we just you just couldn't avoid it. Everybody was going to get wrapped up, no matter what you did.
Yeah, I understand that, bro. You know what I mean? I myself was ducking and dodging too, thinking I was like a LA Dodger around that motherfucker. Tommy Lasorda. So look,
Yes, sir.
at the in the end, man, message to the kids, man. If you want your name out there, if you want to be in the limelight, man, you're gonna get what you got coming to you. Period. Plain and simple.
Yes, sir.
Everyone watches everything. So, man, Sanjo's always had a long history, bro. A long history of norteños. Now, the history of the sureños is becoming prevalent. Um, how? I know you don't. I know you're not living in San Jose anymore. I know you're doing your own thing, familia thing. How is it in San Jose nowadays, from what you see, bro?
I go back every now and then, but it's totally different, man. It's so if you look at, I'm gonna get a little historical here, but if you look at the culture, the Chicano culture was one of the last movements that we as a Raza had assimilating to us, right? We're the ones that was wearing the khakis, the Pendletons. We started that culture. But when the hip hop came and the rap game came, it kind of changed a lot of things, right? And if you notice, with New York, when they started it, everybody wanted to be like New York with their big old gold chains and things in that nature. And then when it came to the West, right, everybody wanted to be lowriders. Everybody wanted to wear Pendletons and khakis because that was our culture. Then after that, it went to the South. Everybody was sipping lean. Everybody was putting gold grills in their mouth because that's the way the South did it. And they were on top. Now, Chicago's on top. And if you look at the culture now, it's became more like the Chicago gang culture. So we have ops that was a word that we had never used out here, right? It was always enemigas, enemies, or what have you, right? Smoking packs. That wasn't that, and the disrespect of your enemy wasn't as prevalent as it is now, right? We understood the art of war. You have to respect your enemy, right? Because they're just as dangerous as you. They're just on the other side. So when I go back, even the layout is the same. There's not too much space to grow outwards, so they're growing upwards, right? And the more that they grow up, the tighter it becomes. And the more tighter it becomes, it's like sardines in a can, and you're just going to start fighting with each other. All that crab in a bucket mentality. So you got red on red, blue on blue, red on blue, and nobody really cares about each other anymore. All this family first, but there is no family anymore. There is no loyalty anymore. It's about self-preservation. That's what I see.
Most definitely, bro. I preach the same. I preach the same philosophy, man. I see it going. A lot of people look at me like, man, you go hard on these youngsters. It's not going hard on these youngsters. It's going hard on this whole new generation. Whether it be youngsters or older vatos getting in the mix, everybody's trying to be like Mike and trying to be like something they're not. And that's just what I see. Anyways, man, I want to thank you for your time, brother. Blast from the past. Like I said, man, homies for 30 plus years. That is a bond, bro. That is something that not a lot of people know. When you struggle together and do time, especially in a hostile environment down south like we were, something new, it just builds a bond like brothers, man. Something that you can't break ever. It's like when me and you finally got back in communication, bro. It was just like yesterday. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And just so you can let the people know, I've always been a crazy motherfucker the whole time, all wild and shit. You know what I mean? Ain't none of this new. You know?
Yes, sir.
Ain't
Yes,
none of
sir,
this
man.
new. Ain't none of this new. I do want to say one thing, man, before and I want to touch on this right before we get up out of here. Snoop, right? Badass Snoop, man. I know you've heard of him. You've heard his name. Um, do you recall him being in Ellis with us? Because I don't remember that, bro.
I don't remember. I don't know. I didn't know Snoop, and I only met him one time out here in Sacra. It was at a bar on 47th and Stockton called Johnny's. And it just happened to be just at the right place at the right time. We were all drinking. We connected over some Y.A. stories, and he was telling me about Preston. He had been to Y.A. a little bit before me, and I was telling him a Nellis, and him being a Nellis never came up in that conversation, right? And it was before all the Norteño riders had really started taking off. But I will say this, that his mind frame was in that direction. And I do remember him speaking on something to that nature, but I don't remember exactly the words that he was using, if it was Norteño rider, if it was Northern rider, or something to that effect. But he was very jaded with the bros and the Nuestra Raza. He wasn't feeling it at all, and he made that pretty much loud and clear.
Yeah, oh, no doubt about that, man. That's well established, well documented. He did go that route. Yeah, I was just trying to clarify, just because. It's not that I get upset with people taking our history, but man, if you were there, you were there, bro. You fought that good fight, man. We went through a lot of turmoil, man, and we did a lot of things, for each other, looking out for each other and helping our brothers. So it's when people try to claim the fame or say they were there and downplay, our history. I feel some type of way about that. I know I shouldn't. It's been 30 years, but I do. You know what I mean? In that fashion.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Anyways, brother, man, thank you for your time. I know time is precious, time is money, time is time. But at the same time, I just wanted to thank you, man. That's one Mr. Puerco, the Northside Sanjo. You know what I mean? A real Vato, done it in many different forms of fashions, continues to do it, man. And, we'll see where life takes its turns. Hopefully, we could do this again, brother. And gracias. I appreciate you. Any last words? Soska like death row. You got any last words?
Yeah, yeah. I want to give a shout out to the Southsiders that were in Nellis with us, man. Everybody who was there at that era, man. It was a different time, man. And regardless of what they put us through or what we put them through, that can never be repeated. And that showed me a lot of who I am, who they are, and who we are as a raza, right? Just like I've heard you say this a lot in different videos, man. We're all the same, and that time, that culture, that Chicano culture, that cholo is like no longer, and if you look at it today, a lot of us get clowned because we still dress like that or we hold on to that. But that was, for a lot of us, that was the best times of our lives. And there's a lot of people who ain't even here anymore. Rest in peace to all the Southsiders who have lost their life that I did time with, as well as the Northsiders who have lost their life, who I've done time with down there. You can't repeat that. So, that again, for the youngsters, if you're listening, man, this is, you either end up in prison for the rest of your life or 6 feet deep. And just remember, when it's about revenge, you better dig 2 graves, because it ain't just you that's dying.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Well, man, we appreciate your time. That was a positive message, brother. And gracias, man. I'll tap in with you. You know what time it is, brother. Anyways, I
Yes,
hope.
sir.
Yes, sir. Anyways, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. You get everything that you want coming to you. That's called hustling. You already know it's all about uniting the raza, listening to these Firme spills by Firme Vatos that have been there, done that, and continue as such. And it is what it is, man. Banger after banger. You know how I do it. The gun. Bang, bang.